Hi, I'm Michele Weiner-Davis. I'm the author of 7 books, including the best-selling Divorce Busting and The Sex-Starved Marriage. Since the early 80s, I've been training therapists all over the world to help couples choose marriage over divorce. I am so excited to tell you about a training that I have coming up in 2015, a divorce busting intensive training. It is absolutely my favorite workshop, despite the fact that I do many of them over the course of the year. And one of the reasons for this is it's a 3-day training, which allows me to push up my sleeves and really delve into the material and share with you what I've learned over the last 3 decades working with couples on the brink. If you work with couples, I know the challenges that you're facing. You're seeing more and more infidelity. You're seeing more couples where one spouse wants in and the other desperately wants out. You are so sick and tired of the phrase, "I love him, but I'm not in love with him anymore." You have couples in your practice who won't stop blaming and pointing fingers at each other. You see empathy in short supply. There are some days in the office where you think it goes really pretty well, but other days you ask yourself, what could I have done differently to have gotten better results? I get it, but there's good news. I have learned so much over the last 3 decades working with these really challenging couples, and I've distilled the information into a step-by-step map that I want to share with you over the course of the 3 days together. So let's take a very short look at the information that I'm planning to cover in our time together. First off, I want to offer you a step-by-step map of how to conduct a first and subsequent session. Let's face it, clients don't randomly talk about things during the session. They're responding to the questions we're asking. So I want to teach you which questions to ask to stack the deck in the favor of marriage and which ones to avoid completely. I want to help you figure out what to focus on and what to ignore. And since I'm convinced that one of the most important jobs that we have as therapists is to instill hope, I want to teach you many strategies to help your nearly hopeless clients feel more hope as they walk out the door. And I also want to teach you about your own hope blind spots or your biases that probably get you stuck. Another important topic that I built a whole telephone coaching program around is how in the world do you do couples therapy when you have just one person? I call this method, it takes one to tango, and you can teach people how to effect relationship change single-handedly. If you've ever felt lost because you've just had one spouse that you're working with, you won't after coming to this course. You will also learn something called the last resort technique. People tell me this is the most powerful technique when one spouse is truly out the door. So many therapists think that there's nothing you can do but just help the person in your office accept the inevitable, but that is not true. There is much that you can do even at this late stage. Now I have a question for you. Do you ever say to yourself, I'm working harder than my clients? If the answer is yes, stop. You have to stop it now. And I will teach you techniques for overcoming resistance and placing the responsibility for change squarely on the shoulders of the people where it belongs, your clients. Finally, lots of people have been asking me, what will be new in this workshop? What new information will I be sharing? 3 things. Let's talk about infidelity. If you're working with couples, you're seeing infidelity. In my practice, somewhere between 90 to 95% of the couples I'm working with are experiencing infidelity. Many therapists tell me that they are most uncomfortable when they're working with couples where there's been an affair. I get it, it's a tough subject, but that's what I specialize in. In previous workshops, I've touched on the topic of infidelity, but since in the last few years I've had so much more of it in my practice, I've learned so much more. and I've come up with a concrete program to help couples recover and move forward in their lives. I want to share it with you so you feel that same level of confidence when you work with these couples as any other couples in your practice. And secondly, I've completely shifted the way that I work with couples these days. I do 2-day intensives where people fly in from all over the place to work with me for 2 full days. And in this workshop, I want to share with you information about these intensives. And the great news is that I have wonderful new videos that actually illustrate this process. And finally, because so many people have asked me about my International Divorce Busting Telephone Coaching Program, I want to talk about that topic in the workshop. There's a big difference between doing the divorce busting method in terms of therapy and doing coaching, and I'll illustrate some of those differences. Plus, so many people have asked, Michele, how do I become a divorce busting coach? And I want to talk a little bit about that process. So this is my way of saying I would love to meet you. Come and join us for the 3 fabulous days in Boulder, Colorado. We'll learn together, we'll laugh together, we'll have dinner together. Plus, you'll be in the Rocky Mountains in May, and what could be better? So many people have told me that this workshop has truly changed the way they work with clients, and it's actually even changed their lives. So join us and find out why.